Well, hello there, it's me, again. And Happy New Year in case I'm releasing this video in the end of December. And something tells me that that will be the case, despite it's still November, but well. So today I have a bit controversial video for you, because I'm risking being misunderstood, or more precisely, not understood. Plus, the idea of this video came to me spontaneously, but at the same time I'm very passionate about it, and I feel like at least some of you may find something pretty valuable here. So let's begin. Dark Souls, it's a good game, right? Many players tend to consider it perfect, but of course it's not. It has some flaws, unlike Disdeal channel, so make sure to subscribe while it's free. But in contrast to the modern AAA market, it may seem perfect to many because it's designed so much better in many respects. But how to make it even better? And I'm not talking about optimization or graphics, whatever. Let's put all the obvious stuff aside, since I wouldn't waste your time with that. But about an idea which I find interesting. It may seem strange at first, it may sound like one of those ideas given by 12-year-olds, like, oh, it would be so cool if I could enter every single building in GTA, or it would be so cool if in Need for Speed I could just walk out of the car and shoot cops in the face with a shotgun, etc. Yeah, it may sound like one of those, but it's different. Plus, it also lets us talk about the body of the playable character, not only in Dark Souls, in every game. Oh, and before we begin, I just want to remind you that there are subtitles for all of my videos, so if you have some problems with understanding me because of my accent, you may want to turn them on. So, let's begin. What is the body of the playable character? Well, it is the closest thing to the player in the whole game. It's something that stays with you throughout your whole experience. Everything may change, the plot may develop, your environment will be changing, your equipment will be changing, but the body, it will always be the same. The body is the closest thing to the player because it is what makes the connection between the player and the game, a catalyst, a mediator between the game and the player. It is the thing through which you are able to interact with the world of the game. Of course it works subconsciously, you probably won't play a game and actively think about the body of your character, unless you are a weird person, or unless you are playing some JoJo games. If that's the case, no one can ever blame you. So, how to put the player in the game? This process consists of two parts. First, the interaction between the player and the body of the playable character. And interaction means that the player has his input levers, which give him the ability to affect the body of the playable character, and some output in the form of visuals, sound, or even tactical output like a vibration of your gamepad, for example. And this one is crucial, of course, because there's no game if you can't play it. Oh, and I also made a video about player's input, so you can check it out, it should appear somewhere on the screen. And the second part is the ability of the bodyable character to interact with the local world, meaning that the body should be able to affect the world and that the world should also be able to affect the body. And once those two parts are implemented, the player can be considered to be a part of the world of the game. And let's focus on the second part here, because this is what this video is about. And since we are talking about Dark Souls here, let's use it as an example. So, how does the world of Dark Souls affect the body of your character? Well, like in the majority of games, it does it through enemies. They can hit you, deal some damage, they can hit you even harder, and your body will face the impact. The ground stops you from falling down, the walls stop you from going through walls. There are lots of ways to show that the body of the main character is aware of its environment. Dark Souls also has relatively precise collisions, where the hitbox of your weapon is placed right on the blade of your weapon. So if you hit a wall, for example, it will let you know that you hit it. Light, by the way, is also a great tool to affect the body of the character and to connect it with its surroundings. Depending on the placement of the source of light, your body can cast a shadow, some areas of your body can become brighter, showing that they are affected by light, or if you're wearing some metal armor, it will show you some nice reflectivity. And since the same light source can affect not only the body of your character, but also the environment simultaneously, it gives it another good ability to connect the body and the world. If you step on some uneven surface, your legs will adapt. If you go into the water, you will get wet. If you roll into the dirt, you will get dirty, etc. There are many things that can affect the body of your character. Some of them are very little things that won't usually cause any conscious or explicit reactions, but all of them are important. They make you feel that the body of your character is not just a 3D model with a bunch of textures and code placed into a bigger bunch of 3D models, textures and code, despite that it is, but a part of the world of the game. You become a part of the world of the game through the interaction with it, even if it's some primitive interaction like walking on the ground or reflecting light, or even moving this little stick while being able to reflect this ball. And interaction is what defines games, so yeah, it's kind of important. And it all thanks to the body of your character, that unconscious intimate connection between it and you. The body which will always be with you no matter what happens in the game, which you know better than anything in the game because you got used to it and the way it works. Well, some of you are probably starting to realize where I'm going with this. Let's take this concept even farther. Let's utilize that intimate connection. Now, let's use your imagination. You may close your eyes if it helps your abstract thinking. So, you are in Dark Souls. This time you're a warrior with a huge two-handed sword. You were roaming some dark dungeon. At some point you started wondering why the hell does the narrator have this strange accent. But something disrupted those thoughts. You found a fog wall. After a little hesitation you traversed it and faced a gigantic boss. He killed you. 15 times actually, but here you are, fighting him again. He's strong and very epic. You're starting to think that maybe he's the final boss. The fight is very tense, you're thrilled. You're doing not bad this time, you're dodging his attacks, waiting for a window for yours. Oops, you didn't dodge that one. But it's okay, because you still have some Estus left. And the fight goes on. After a minute or two you run out of Estus, but the boss doesn't have much health left either. You're getting nervous and excited, you don't wanna die, it was so hard. You feel like you're leaving him so little HP, so much less than ever before. Your hands start shaking, just a bit. Your palms get wet. You're trying to be patient, you wait for the right time for your final strike, and the time is now. You rush to him, you raise your weapon for your last attack, you're ready to celebrate your victory. But suddenly, the boss makes an unexpected move. You haven't seen him doing this attack ever before. You miss your chance to dodge it, he grabs you, tears off your arm, and throws you away. You're shocked, you didn't think that it's possible in this game, you're at loss how to react. But what's even more unexpected is that your character is getting on his feet. It provokes lots of different emotions, from frustration to strangeness, because it's happening to the body of your character, the closest thing to you in the whole game. You got used to it so much you didn't expect to see this body in such condition. You're not sure about how to play this game anymore, how this seriously injured body will perform, because it's different. You lose your HP as you bleed, the camera is shaking a bit, the boss is ready for his next strike, you try to run but you can't, you try to roll but the only thing you're capable of is a little sidestep, which has much less iframes than the usual roll. Thankfully you got lucky and it was enough to dodge his attack. You make an attempt to hit him with the sword, but you realize that you don't have enough strength to wield your two-handed sword with only one hand. So instead of a normal attack animation you have something like that clumsy, you don't have enough strength animation from the first Dark Souls game. It doesn't do much damage, at this point you're ready to die. You feel like you can't go on such condition, you're starting to think that maybe it's just easier to give up. But shortly after you throw those thoughts away and continue to fight. Your hands are shaking even more now. You did your very best to dodge his next attack and you succeeded. You press your attack button as many times as possible, the boss raises his weapon for the next attack, he's ready to finish you off. And he's dead. You won. And no, it wasn't the last boss, of course. Whew, that was a heck of a performance, right? So, how would you feel if that happened to you? Well, I can say for myself that I would probably go numb just staring at the monitor for a few minutes because my brain isn't aware of the right emotional response to such situations. But I believe that even players with a low level of emotional participation would probably feel something, and that's the point, you know? That's why we play games, to experience something interesting, to feel something about it. Or just to get addicted. It depends. Now, let's dive into the design aspect of that thing. So why did I choose Dark Souls? Well, because it fits there perfectly. First, it fits the setting of the dark fantasy world. It provokes and conveys the right emotions. It works well with the local aesthetics. It gives you even more of that Berserk vibe, the manga which served as the source of inspiration for Soulsborne series. Oh, and if you're a fan of Dark Souls and you haven't heard about Berserk, then what are you even doing here? Shame on you. Is it pronounced Berserk? 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 Second, it fits the way local world works. You see, in the majority of video games, protagonists can grow their limbs back. So if you lose an arm or two in one of those games, you will have no choice but to finish the whole game like that. But in Dark Souls, you are a chosen undead, or an Ashen one, if you will. And you can be reborn as many times as you want, so it fixes the problem and lets the game use its rebirth mechanic even more. Third, it fits Dark Souls. Dark Souls is one of those games which make you feel that unique emotion of the pleasant frustration, the pleasant desperation. You know what I'm talking about, right? And that dismembering mechanic can emphasize it even more. When it's gonna happen for the first time, the player will get a shocking, very intense and maybe even heroic experience if he manages to beat the boss in that state. And after that, the player will be deeply afraid of it happening again, which is also good for Dark Souls. And finally, isn't it just extremely cool? I mean, I don't think that it's possible to present this concept the right way unless you experience it. But I still hope that at least some of you were able to get it from that example of mine, to feel it and understand why I'm so passionate about it. Anyway, I blame my poor English and narration skills. Well, on the other hand, actually we even have an example of kind of that concept being used in a video game before. It's not the same, but it seems like it stands by the same idea, so... I'm talking about Metal Gear Rising here, where in the end of the first mission you face an extremely powerful opponent, and in the middle of the battle he just cuts off your hand and it's presented the way you can still continue to fight, but you actually can't. It's just an interactive cutscene, but still it works. It's unexpected, it happens after you get used to your body on some level. So you're kind of, whoa, what should I do? Can I still beat him? What's happening? It conveys the right emotions and it shows you how much your opponent is stronger than you, to show how much stronger you've become later in the game. Anyway, it's just an illusion. The magic dies in a few seconds when you realize that it's just a cutscene, basically. But that won't be the case for Dark Souls, because there will be no illusion. It will be real, it won't be a cutscene. The important point of that concept lies in its sincerity. Yeah, that's the right word, I guess. So, how would it work? Well, actually I can easily figure it out from that narrative example of mine. I also want to emphasize that I don't see it as a common gameplay mechanic. It's more like something that happens rarely, like some particular powerful enemies can do this to you with some particular attacks. Because it's not its purpose, because it's not so much a gameplay thing as much as an emotional one, even though it will bring something new to the gameplay, of course. And if you're a guy who is now wondering about something like, okay, what if I use my hand in which I had a sword, and in the other hand I have a shield, so I have no choice but to fight with the shield or what? Well, of course I can give you my vision of the implementation of this idea, but it's a bit pointless. I mean, of course it's possible to implement it, it wouldn't even cost that much. Of course it may cause some problems, but it's not really the point. It's not something that we may see in the future Dark Souls games, because none are coming. Anyway, my purpose was to tell you about the body of the playable character and to show you how it can become a very powerful tool for achieving some goals. And that little concept is just a hyperbolical, exaggerated example of it that I found cool and suitable for its purposes. I'm still very passionate about it though, and I can't wait to see it implemented the right way, and maybe I'm not the only one waiting for it. Thank you.